Hello people, today I'm going to be ranking every single DCEU movie. And yeah, I watched Wonder Woman 1984 the other day. When I watched it, I gave it a 7.9, I believe. And I watched it again, and my score has changed just a little bit. And I'm not going to say whether if I thought it was better the second time or if I thought it was worse the second time. So we'll see once you watch this video. And yeah, anyways, I will officially change my score for Wonder Woman 1984 once I have it on my list. Okay, coming in at number 9 is, I think I don't know if this is universally disliked the least, but I don't know. It's the one I don't like the most out of all the DC movies, and that is Suicide Squad. Redeemable qualities: Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and I can't really appreciate Will Smith as Deadshot anymore because he's not playing him again, so Margot Robbie. She's good in the movie, and yeah. I just want to point out that this movie won an Oscar. It did. Look it up. Makeup and hair, I think. Or was it costumes? One of the two. But it won an Oscar. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, the makeup and the hair, like, it was all well done and all, but it didn't. But I never realized that they gave such awards to crappy movies. Anyways, my biggest problem with this movie is that it was supposed to be a different movie. It was supposed to be a different type of comic book movie. It has a bunch of villains, and so you wouldn't. And so when I saw the trailers, I was expecting this is going to be different. We got the same old weird villain, and somehow they kind of made the villains the good guys in the movie, and we have a skybeam surrounded by trash and some witch girl doing some hula dancing in front of it. Thanks, DC. Coming in at number 8 is Justice League. I think this movie has aged the worst out of all of them. Who knows? This might be at the bottom once like another DC movie comes out, because this movie keeps, every single time, the more and more it resonates with me, every single time I watch it, it just gets worse and worse and worse. Just because it just doesn't feel like the rest of the DC movies. You can clearly tell Joss Whedon had his hands all over this. But I cannot really have my full opinion. I can't really let that affect my opinion until I see the Snyder Cut. Once I see the Snyder Cut and see the original vision all come together, then I'll be able to tell you how bad the recut of Justice League is. But as of right now, I can tell you that it's pretty bad. Anyways, but it could be even worse once we see the Snyder Cut, if the Snyder Cut's good in the first place. But all the characters just feel weird in this movie. Gal Gadot gave a terrible performance as Wonder Woman. Ben Affleck didn't even feel like Batman. He just felt like Ben Affleck walking into a scene. Henry Cavill, I know the little mustache and he talks like this the whole entire movie. But Cyborg, it cracked me up when I watched an interview when Zack Snyder said himself, Cyborg is the heart and soul of the movie. He's just the robot guy that does exposition because he has a robot brain. And that's logic. Yeah, don't like the movie. Totally inconsistent. It's so filtered and not what it was supposed to be. Coming in at number 7 is, I feel dislikes coming already. Just do it. Go ahead and do it before I say it. Aquaman. I don't like the movie. Here's my standpoint on the cheesiness of this movie. Like, if you watch my review, I was okay with the cheesiness in Wonder Woman 1984. Because they established they proved Wonder Woman. She proved herself in the first movie, and so I was fine with having like a little cheesy adventure in the second film. And when Aquaman has been known to be poked fun of multiple times before we saw this movie, and they make it cheesy anyways, I don't feel like Aquaman proved himself. Yes, Jason Momoa is decent as Aquaman, but the script to Aquaman is terrible. It's terrible. Besides Suicide Squad and Justice League, it's the worst script. Batman vs. Superman has a better script than this. The visuals in Aquaman are good though. The action was fun. Too many villains. Amber Heard was decent. I don't know why William Dafoe was in the movie. His character, there was a lot of useless characters. They needed to take out. They either needed to save Black Manta for the second movie, or make him the main villain in the first. Because when you have a first movie where you explain so much, how long is the movie? About 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and you're already cramming all this crap into the first one, and there's a lot of visual stuff visually going on. It just doesn't resonate with me at like a first movie should, and it just didn't do enough for me as a first Aquaman movie. I'm sorry for the people that really like it. I'm happy you like it. I have the movie, like, crap, it's right here. I have it on 4K. I just, and I've watched it about 2 or 3 times. And each time I want to like this movie. I can't stand it, to be honest. I cannot sit through this movie. This plot is too stupid. It's just too much going on, basically. They needed to get a better writer and dull some stuff down. I know, that's a quick rant about Aquaman. Anyways, I know you guys hate me now. That's okay. Coming in at number 6 is Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. I don't mind this movie. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't hate it, like a lot of people do. I have some things I hate about it, but I don't hate the movie itself. There's a lot of stuff I actually like about the movie. Well, one is one of Hans Zimmer's best scores. Has the best scene in all of the and out of all the DC movies, this one has the best scene where at the very beginning actually, and it was where Bruce Wayne sees his building falling and he just runs right towards it. One, it shows the character of how good he is as a person, as Batman, and two, Hans Zimmer's score is very impactful, and 3, the visual effects there are really seamless and they look really good. But yeah, but besides that, there is a lot of stupid crap in this movie. Like I watched an interview with Zack Snyder where he kind of explained. Well, I've seen quite a bit of Zack Snyder interviews because I don't know. I'm sure you guys have heard the YouTuber Grace Randolph. She did a lot of interviews with him about the Snyder Cut, and she's talked about his whole entire career with him. So it's been interesting watching those interviews with him. But what was my point? He explained the Save Martha part in his eyes. I just don't buy it. It's not convincing enough because, like, it's just because the script needs it to. It went, especially in the third act, especially throwing in Doomsday at the end. What were they thinking? One, I don't even like his look. I just personally don't like the way Doomsday looks. Wonder Woman showing up at the end was just, it felt too. There's a reason why this movie's called Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. And it just felt like the rest of the movie was Batman vs. Superman, and then the last little bit of the movie was Dawn of Justice. And that really bothered me at the end. But there are moments of this movie I really like. When I watched this movie, the most recent time I watched the Ultimate Edition, and the Ultimate Edition is actually an improvement from the original cut. It's about 30 minutes longer. They dive a little bit more into Henry Cavill's motivation as Superman in the movie, and that was very lacking in the original cut. So that did clear up that problem of the movie for me. But like I said, I had to give this movie a 5 out of 10 last time I watched it, because half of the movie I absolutely love. There's an hour and a half of this movie I love, and then there's an hour and a half of this movie that I hate. Oh, I forgot to mention the thing I hate the most about this movie: Lex Luthor. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor doesn't give a bad performance. It's just he's extremely miscast, and the writing for him just was terrible. Okay, coming in at number 5 is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of the One. And the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Yep. I don't hate this movie either. I have a lot of problems with it. I think I give this movie... I think this movie is barely passable for me. I can sit down and watch it and be like, that was fine. And that's what I think the Birds of Prey is. It's fine. It's really... My opinion of Birds of Prey is like, I think everyone else's opinion of Wonder Woman 1984. Because a lot of people are saying about Wonder Woman 1984 are like, it's fine. But that's my opinion of Birds of Prey. I think it's fine. Margot Robbie is great as Harley Quinn. There's some really good laughs. I like the way that they told the story, and it's really hard for me to get on board with that type of storytelling where they jump you around. I didn't even like the way they told it, and they told that type of storytelling in Deadpool, but I actually enjoyed it in this movie. But yeah, Margot Robbie's great as Harley Quinn once again. There's a couple really annoying characters that I don't know the actress's name, but the cop girl I could not stand her character. She was really annoying. And yeah, but besides that, it was fine. Ewan McGregor was great as that guy, Black Mask. Yeah. He does go over the top, but it's fine. There's nothing too terrible about it, but the movie isn't really necessary in the first place. And yeah, coming in at number 4 is Wonder Woman 1984. I enjoyed this movie. It's kind of baffling to me how much the Rotten Tomatoes score has dropped since the reviews came out. When the reviews first came out, it was at like an 87. And I checked it again, it was like a 78. And I checked it again, and it was like 71. And now it's currently at a 65. I don't think this movie is a 6.5. I think it's actually a lot higher. Well, not a lot higher than that, but I think it's higher than that. There's tons of great moments. It's just everyone's letting there's a lot of problems in the movie. I'll say this. The reviews that I'm watching, the people that hate the movie, all their problems that they have with it, I 100% agree with. It bothered them a lot more than it bothered me. I still had a lot of fun watching this movie. I enjoyed the cheesiness. It was like watching the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and it was fun to watch. Of course, the wire work is a little distracting, but that's what almost made the movie special for me. I enjoyed it. I don't care if it looked cheesy or if it's technically doesn't look that great. What matters is I had fun with it, and that's what happened with this movie. Of course, the writing for the spoilers, some certain plot writing in this movie is terrible. There's scenes in this movie that don't need to be there. There's scenes that feel like I'm watching Transformers. But I enjoy it, and I don't care. Yeah, Gal Gadot is fantastic as Wonder Woman. The emotional height of the movie is like halfway through, and that's my favorite part of the movie. And because they nailed the emotion in this movie, and the message at the end is actually really good. It has a lot of layers, and it's very, very deep. The deepest message and portrayal of its message in any DC movie. It's just it does have a lot of problems, but it doesn't bother me as much as it does everyone else. And I am going to officially update. Last time when I watched the movie, I gave it a 7.9. I'm going to update my score to a 7.5 because it's not terrible and it's not great. It's good in my eyes. And if you guys want to, I've been seeing a lot of people saying it's like a 2 or 3 out of 10. I'm sorry you think this way of this movie because I really enjoy it. And yes, there is, and a lot of people call this movie boring. I disagree. I never found myself bored. I watched this twice. I wasn't bored at all. I seriously don't know why people are bored watching this. I know there's a good period of time without Wonder Woman, but Gal Gadot is a great actress. Chris Pine is a great actor. You have a great cast, and every single one of them's giving a great performance, and that just left the movie afloat. It's so cheesy, where it's to the point I was laughing of how much fun I was having with the cheesiness. And yeah, but of course, I'm not saying this is the best movie ever, because people are going to jump the gun and saying that I said it's like the best DC movie, and probably dislike this video. I know that I sound like the most whiny person ever, but yeah, I'm sorry if you didn't like this movie, but I enjoyed it. Coming in at number 3 is Shazam. The first 2 acts of this movie I absolutely love. I think the third act kind of falls apart a lot. And I know people have called this movie the strongest third act. It just gets too much for me at the end because, like, for Wonder Woman 1984, it's consistently cheesy. For me, Shazam wasn't really cheesy, and then it got really cheesy at the third act to the point where I was like, this doesn't feel like payoff to the it didn't really feel like payoff to the first 2 acts. And yes, I want to be completely honest. I don't think there's a single really good DC movie. Even my number 1 on my list, I don't even think it was really good. I think it's pretty good. But I don't think DC has really even left a good mark yet. But yeah, Shazam, it's one of the better ones. Zachary Levi as Shazam is awesome. The whole entire cast does a good job. It has a lot of heart to it. The villain in this movie is actually kind of memorable, and he's bald at the same time. That's a first. Where we have a bald villain, and he's memorable. Of course, I wasn't the big fan about the whole like the 7 demons or whatever. I wasn't really a big fan of that, but whatever. It's a passable movie. And yeah, coming in at number 2 is Man of Steel. I really enjoy this movie. Of course, it does become a little much at the end when it's just the action keeps going and going. And I'm an action buff. Believe me, I can have an action sequence all day. One of my favorite movies of all time is John Wick. But even I could admit, Man of Steel third act just becomes a little too much at the end. The movie constantly focuses on the consequences if Kal-El embraces this persona of Superman, and if he starts saving people around the globe. And that's the reason, and they literally made a point, and they're saying that's why his father died, because he believed that the world wasn't ready. And yet his peaceful way, and it kind of slaps the father in the face at the end, where he kind of just, explodes a bunch of buildings, and that's his first impression. It just kind of goes, it's against what the movie's almost trying to say. And yeah, like I said, I've never been the biggest fan of Henry Cavill as Superman, but I know it sounds like I don't like this movie, but I really enjoy it. Even though the action does go on too long, I enjoy watching it. It's eye candy. The opening, the 20-minute opening, I know I've seen people complain about it being overlong, but I absolutely love that whole entire sequence. I love and I adore it. I think it's so well done, and it's just so cool to see the fall of Krypton in such a beautiful Zack Snyder-y way. I love the opening. The flashback scenes with Clark, every single one of those are really well done, with some great child actors that they have for that. Like I said, we have tons of great Snyder shots in this movie, and Amy Adams' Lois Lane is really good. The plot isn't bad. Zada is a really good villain, and I think he's the best villain out of all the DC movies. He has a threatening presence, and the actor is so over the top. It's good. But yeah, Man of Steel, I have a really fun time with it, even though it does have some message problems that it's trying to convey. But I don't think Zack Snyder's one to, have a deep, meaningful, layered message. Okay, coming in at number 1 is, I think everyone's number 1, and that is Wonder Woman. I love the first 2 acts. The third act gets a little much at the end, but I don't think the third act is as bad as people say it is. Of course, the old guy becoming Ares or whatever is really stupid, but whatever. The first 2 acts are so good. I'm just saying, if the last third of the movie was just Gal Gadot dancing to Gangnam Style, like, that was so random, I would still really like Wonder Woman, because the first 2 acts were that good. It almost gives me Saving Private Ryan vibes, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time. The war sequences, how Wonder Woman literally deals with a world war, is really great. And that's why I had to put Wonder Woman at number 1. And yeah, anyways, that's my ranking of all 9 DCEU movies. Comment down below what you guys think, because I'm actually genuinely curious on how you guys rank these movies. I'm just going to say it one more time. Number 9, Suicide Squad, Justice League, Aquaman, Batman v Superman, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1984, Shazam, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman. And yeah, anyways, that's my video. Like, share, subscribe, and stuff like that, and adios.